An internet boom and easy access to smartphones has ensured that Indians are now consuming content on their phones like never before. Mobile is the backbone of online advertising, and mobile apps is where the bulk of action takes place for both the user as well as the advertiser. And with most locked in at home due to the coronavirus crisis, usage has surged. According to advertising tech platform InMobi, in the first quarter, mobile ads targeted at shoppers grew 28% year-on-year, while music and audio, health and fitness and education-related ads saw a whopping 500% growth in India, marking the immense growth potential that the space has to offer to brands. Of course, the consumers don't seem to be complaining. Mobile video ads are now the most engaging advertising format, with click-through rates or CTR as high as 2.5 times higher in comparison to other formats. So what does the future hold for mobile advertising in India, and what does this mean for ad tech platforms as they work with brands to ensure conversions as COVID changes the rules of the game? Well, to grapple with this new normal, joining me on Young Turks is India's longest-running show on startups and entrepreneurship. I have with me to talk about the future of mobile advertising and the impact of the pandemic on business, Naveen Tewari, the founder and CEO of InMobi Group. Naveen, many thanks for joining us here on Young Turks. I believe you haven't stepped out of your home since March, but business certainly doesn't seem to be doing badly.
Well, thank you for inviting me on this show. This is one of my most favorite shows, Shereen, and congratulations on what you've done with the show in the last many, many years. You're right. Businesses which are, privileged as ours because we are, very digital business or completely digital business allows us the luxury of not stepping out. So yes, I have not stepped out now for close to 3 months and trying to stay safe, and not just myself, but everybody in the company is trying to stay safe. But yes, the business continues to grow. It is an unfortunate set of times, but a time which has essentially increased the penetration of any digital property, any digital asset that exists out there, and the consumption of those. And therefore, from our perspective in our advertising business, those verticals have gone through the roof in the last 2 to 3 months. So that certainly we're seeing a huge uptake in the business and are enjoying the time that we are seeing out there.
Okay, that's good to hear. And I would imagine that, as I pointed out, people locked in and on their mobile phones pretty much through the course of the day. So, Naveen, pre-lockdown and post-lockdown, is business activity now back to the same level?
Yeah, so when COVID hit sometime in mid-March, we saw a decline in activity across the globe, across, I would say, majority of the sectors. For end of March till probably end of April. What we started to see in the last, I would say, 4 to 5 weeks is an uptake on largely digital sectors in a big way, because those seems to have come back quite strongly. Having said that, those sectors actually never really went down that much. But every enterprise in the world was in a state of shock, and therefore everyone was holding back to realize what they really want to do, how should they assess the environment out there. And so therefore we saw some of that happen, hit the business at those times. But, between, I would say, mid-March to where we are today, I think the business is back to the same levels. Albeit it is not in the sectoral, the composition of the business is actually quite different.
I want to pick on that piece a little bit more. If you can give me some granularity as far as the sectors that are in focus, as well as the spending, because if I take a look at your top advertiser categories by spends, news is right up there, followed by shopping, business, entertainment, and finance. So what about the quantum of spends as well?
Right. So, it is interesting to see that some of these sectors which pre-COVID used to index much lower are actually indexing quite higher, not just at the index level, but also at the absolute level. So the way I would look at this and what's really happening is that a lot of those companies are using this as an opportunity to realize that their businesses could be much larger than what they were expected to be pre-COVID. So, gaming, for example, it's a sector which has just gone through the roof. Gaming, I would argue that over the last 2 to 3 months, gaming is has grown literally 3 to 5x, if not more.
Wow.
In general, that's the uptake that we've seen. Similarly, sectors which are more in the commerce space post some of the lockdowns opening up are really starting to scale right now quite heavily, because they obviously missed a huge amount of 6 weeks of business, but also people are expected to stay in. So it's a very obvious one, frankly, if you would ask me, that commerce would start to pick up and e-commerce would start to pick up a lot more. The ones that I thought were very interesting to see, which had not seen earlier, were more around health tech, for example, right?
Okay.
So there's a lot of health oriented things which are now happening. Health and wellness, I would put all of that in a similar bucket. But across both of these sectors, I say we are starting to see things which are happening because people are starting to understand and take care of their health while sitting at home, wellness while sitting at home. And therefore, these applications and these businesses didn't necessarily have, that level of traction before this. And therefore, but these are now very, they're very in. And so therefore, they're spending quite heavily. And the other one, which is, very, very visible across, across the board is our education companies.
Yeah.
And they were very, lower on the index portion, except for maybe one or two companies out there. But right now you'll see a large number of them, coming back out here and looking at this. And entertainment is a pretty obvious one, given, people are at home logged in. Entertainment is a big sector that's really looking at things differently. And OTT applications, etc., are spending a lot of money to make sure that consumers come and log into their into those environments and consume as much entertainment content as they can. And so all of these sectors, I would argue, have seen a huge uptake, and not necessarily they were the top top of the chart. So the charts have changed.
Yeah.
The leaderboard has changed, but the size of the leaderboard is still very similar to the size of the leaderboard that existed before this.